Hello Void and fellow Voidlings, hope you've all been well. I want to apologize for the lapse in posting, but I'm hoping to get back into the groove of things starting with this video. Also, just for some quick housekeeping, I just started officially streaming on Twitch and eventually will be streaming to YouTube, so if you're interested in seeing some gameplay, then come hang. My Twitch channel will be linked in the description. Thank you guys for watching, and let's get into the review. So this chapter is kind of wild in a very real and kind of cringe way. Hopefully that grabbed your attention as we're getting into a heavy topic that's not been explored in the movie. Now sit back, grab your bowl of cereal, and let's get into chapter 5, which covers pages 103 to 132. Okay, so we start with the military regrouping after the chaos of the last chapter. Meathead is pissed, but they did get Takashi back. As the military sound off, Meathead screams at Masaru. And Masaru, our psychic powerhouse, cowers in fear. Like, I know he's a kid and Meathead is super intimidating, but Masaru could totally take him. Meathead is shaking mad and says through gritted teeth, "You let him get that capsule?" And like, if Meathead is this upset about losing a capsule, even though they did get Takashi back, just goes to show how important that capsule is. Must be some good ish. The next page is our boy Kaneda, walking around through an alley, still covered in sewage, stumbling around and leaving a trail of sludge, and then he sneezes, showing us that Kaneda is fine, but maybe a little sick. Alright, so it's the next day and we're back at school. There's our crusty teen in his usual spot. And guess who shows up? It's Tetsuo. Inside the school, we get more world-building panels. The whole classroom is unbothered. The teacher calls out one of the gang members, Yamagata, for not paying attention, and Yamagata decides to yell back. Kaneda is in the background smiling. Clearly, this is funny. Kind of is. He comments about them being on probation, and Kaneda begins messing with the pill he snagged from Takashi and Masaru. He breaks it apart to examine it, and one of the kids thinks it's the usual capsule that they all take and begs Kaneda for some. Kaneda then gets up telling the teacher he has to use the bathroom and then bolts out of the room, leaving Yamagata and the teacher to continue their argument. And surprise, surprise, Kaneda isn't going to the bathroom. Instead, he rolls into the nurse's office and kisses the attending nurse. Like, she's working for the school. I'm assuming she's gotta be at least 18. I could be wrong. But it's still weird and definitely not professional that they're in this kind of relationship, especially considering she's his plug. I'm definitely not cool with it, but this is a gritty dystopia and Kaneda is clearly a player, so it tracks. He passes the nurse the contents of the pill so she can analyze it, and my girl, who has no name, looked it up, drops that she's pregnant and implies Kaneda is the father. And just to further emphasize just how effed the youth are, Kaneda asks if he can watch her have it. And one of the biker crew runs into the nurse's office, weird that he knew Kaneda would be there, and tells him that Tetsuo is back. Kaneda immediately lights up, which is cool that he cares so much about Tetsuo, and he goes to leave the nurse's office with our nurse looking super hurt, probably realizing just how much of a kid Kaneda actually is, and won't be able to support her. And as he walks out of the doors, he also drops that he's gonna need more capsules. Back in the classroom, the teacher is still trying to rein in the students as they crowd around Tetsuo. They ask where he was, which he doesn't answer, and they shout about celebrating his return with a party. Tetsuo tells them he has to go to the hospital, and the gang, the bad influence that they are, do not care. They're going to party and that's final. Now, assuming the crew didn't just leave in the middle of class, it's after school now and everyone's getting ready to go party. Kaneda is late to join as he's picking up the supply from the nurse. Back inside the nurse's office, we have Kaneda picking up his candy, and the nurse asks where he got the capsule, very clearly interested in the info she was able to find. Kaneda dodges her question and asks what's in it. She tells him that part of the pill defied analysis and that 1 grain from the pill is 5 times stronger than the whole bag of pills she just gave Kaneda, going on to say that if someone consumed the pill, they would go mad and die. She also found out that it's a Schedule 1 drug. The nurse asks again where he got the pill, and Kaneda leaves without answering. The next panel is iconic. It's the banged up mouth tossing a pill down the hatch. Everyone takes their party favor and hops on their bikes, which I feel I don't need to say is an extremely bad idea. And then they zoom off down the stairs, almost running over a kid and then startling our school step lurker. Next page, and it's later that night in Neo Tokyo. We're now with a general and a new character, the scientist/doctor, and they are in the office discussing Tetsuo. They tell us that Tetsuo was brought to their hospital after the accident with Takashi, and while there, it was discovered that Tetsuo may also have psychic abilities. This is odd because I guess these abilities only awaken in children, but the doctor points out that Tetsuo is only 15 and a half, and that they have witnessed an 18-year-old develop abilities, so it isn't unprecedented. The general gets upset, again, because Tetsuo is late for his appointment, and the doctor suggests bringing him in by force with the operatives that were assigned to tail him. Back on the streets with our boys as they zoom through heavy traffic, dodging pedestrians and oncoming vehicles, just generally being unsafe, probably because they did drugs before getting on a vehicle. Again, don't do that. Kaneda calls for Tetsuo after narrowly escaping 2 cars and sees that Tetsuo is actually ahead of him. Just then, the gang spots lights, and it's the police. This is what Kaneda has been waiting for, as he says, "It's showtime," and they take off again, leaving the groovy goons in standstill traffic. Tetsuo does a cool slide, and the rest of the gang are not far behind as they're being chased by a futuristic cop car, which I think looks pretty awesome. The gang splits as they all turn different ways, and the cops are forced to slam on their brakes. Tetsuo gets fully separated, but hasn't escaped just yet as a rival biker gang appears behind him. Tetsuo tries to figure out what's going on, as if he doesn't know it's the ICP, and they respond with a makeshift flail to the face, which sends Tetsuo's goggles flying. Now that Tetsuo is off his bike, the clown gang dismount and start beating Tetsuo. Poor guy, every time he rides his bike, I swear. Probably shouldn't do that anymore. They let him know he's on their turf, but in the midst of kicking Tetsuo while he's down, Kaneda and a couple other members of our gang show up. The clown gang tries to leave, but one of them gets caught. While the other members of our biker gang give chase to the clowns, Kaneda lets Tetsuo get his revenge. Tetsuo begins wailing on the other gang member, just like in the movie. The other members of our gang come back as they were unable to get the other guys. And just like in the movie, Kaneda tries to rein in Tetsuo, but Tetsuo is bloodlusted, and with blood dripping from his fist, he lets Kaneda know he is trying to end this guy. He's trying to commit no more life on this man. Kaneda grabs Tetsuo's arm, but Tetsuo shakes free, saying, "I don't take orders from you," with his crazy eyes on, and we end with Kaneda and Tetsuo locked in a staring contest. This chapter was wild, but definitely not in an occult, psychic, mumbo-jumbo type of way. It went kind of gritty with the reality of these kids living in such a harsh dystopia. I mean, Kaneda is going to be a father, and then seeing how addicted these kids are to the capsules, just begging Kaneda for that one little piece, and their blatant disregard for the safety of others, which, granted, is a typical teen thing, but still, it's mind-blowing. 4 out of 10 capsules on this one. This chapter was pretty good, but didn't really meet my criteria for heady content beyond these psychic abilities only awakening in children, which I think it's a reference to the belief that kids are closer to God or whatever, and therefore in touch with spiritual/psychic abilities, but it didn't really expand on this idea. Anywho, if you liked the chapter, go ahead and like the video, and don't forget to subscribe, hit the noti bell, and comment your thoughts on the chapter. Do you guys believe that kids are more in touch with the spiritual? And do you think that 18 is the cutoff for spiritual abilities, or psychic abilities? Also, don't forget to check out my Twitch. I'm going to be streaming every Thursday, and follow me on Twitter to stay up to date with my scheduling, because at this point, it's kind of up in the air, except for Twitch. Don't forget, every Thursday. But anyways, I've got a bowl of cereal whispering sweet nothings in my ear, so I'm out. Thanks again.